All right, hey, this is Shane. We're going to talk today about this battery options for the Sony ZV-1. Everything I'm going to talk about mostly is in this box. I just thought it would be cool to be able to spin it, but got some battery options for you and some alternatives to your just your standard battery, the NP-BX1. So let's get to it. So we're going to open this box. This is not the box that any of this came in, but I thought it'd be cool to try to post this video and have most of the things that I'm going to talk about in the box. So we'll get them out and then we'll go from there. So we've got a battery charger brick we'll talk about. Got something called Blind Spot. Well, actually Blind Spot is the company. This is called a Power Junkie, so we'll get to that. I'm going to set these to the side. Got battery, comes in a little plastic thing. This is a generic, if you will, or non-Sony Newmowa battery. Set that over to the side. That is a 1240 milliwatt hour. That's what the Sony battery is that you get. This is the Rode Wireless Go unit. This is the which portion is this? This is the receiver. Set that to the side. This is the mic or the transmitter. We're going to use these. This is not about mics, but we're going to show you in a minute how you can charge these with one of the alternatives that I've got. By the way, we're using the onboard microphone from the ZV-1, primarily just so those that are not familiar with it can know what it sounds like. I would normally use, as good as this is onboard microphone is, I will typically use a either this wireless system or one of my other external mics. Got the original Sony battery that comes with this, and by the way, you'll notice that focus is pretty quick. That's the product showcase mode for the Sony ZV-1, which is amazing. You know, many cameras you have to mess around with the focus to be able to focus on that, but I'm also able to get really close to that lens. I'm very close to the lens right now. That's the original Sony. So I'll use that in a minute. And another one of the generics, or I'll use the term generic. What else do we have? We also have, and I'm going to set the box over here, we have a Vemico is the company. This is a NP-F970 battery. This is apparently, I'm not all that familiar, honestly, with a lot of the Sony batteries, but this is, now that I'm into Sony, I guess I will become that way. This particular battery and smaller versions, but with the same footprint and the same connection, are very common to run lights and many of the video cameras and even some of the cameras. So let's start talking about some of this stuff. So we'll start with talking about the fact that the ZV-1 comes with a single battery. It's a 1240 milliamp battery. These replacements, which I'll put the links in, or there'll be links in the description for all of this, Amazon links mostly, so yes, it will help me some if you click on those links to keep doing these videos. But this Newmowa, as you can see, is also a 1240 3.6 volt 1240 milliamp battery. As it turns out, there's a Battery First Power is the brand. They have a 3.7 volt, which I think it still works, but a 1700 milliamp. I'll be ordering some of those. Maybe you will order some of them before I will even, and let me know how much more time you get out of those. I will tell you that these generic Newmowa batteries are these right here. You get maybe about 15 minutes less time in all the video modes with these as opposed to the Sony. So that's the one thing that you get. I can't really tell you about how long they last compared to the original Sony. This is literally the first time I've ever used these NP BX1, and again, this is the Sony, the original. I'm running one of the generics in the camera right now, and so I've got about an hour to make this happen. So let's first talk about those Newmowa batteries, and the link in the description is for 3 of those batteries and this little charger right here. So this will run 3. We'll charge 3 at the same time. You've got your LED indicator, so I'll plug this in a minute so you can see how it would run. Cool thing about this is you have the USB output to charge, and you have a micro USB, I think that is, or mini USB, and then you got a USB-C. I like that. I'll be using the USB-C almost all the time. I don't know when I would not use it, just for whatever reason, if I couldn't find the cable. So pretty straightforward. Show you some of the other things I've got, and then we'll describe them. As I mentioned, we've got this little device here from a company called Blind Spot. It's called the Power Junkie. As you can see on the bottom here, you've got a cold shoe, or where you could put a cold shoe on this and then mount it on something, or you've got the 1/4 inch 20, I think is what that's called, so you could screw it into something. This I'll show you in a minute on how you would use this, and then you could mount this to the Sony ZV-1 in a number of ways, through a cage, through a handle, through a cold shoe that will give you multiple cold shoes, a couple of different ways. But as you can see, it also, as far as charging, you can put one of these F970 batteries in there, and either charge it with these inputs here. Then you have the 2 USB outputs plus a DC. I don't know how many. I don't use that DC part, so I don't know the particulars on that. But let me go ahead and start with this, I guess. So you've got the Vemico rechargeable battery. This is the equivalent of an NP970. I'll show you the specs here. 7,800 milliamp hours. There are NP70 batteries that have more milliwatt hours. This is probably the only 2 like this that I will get, and the others I will get that just have more milliamp hours on it, so I can get more out of it. But these are very unique. Sorry about that, I just kicked the thing. So this Vemico, what's unique about it is there's a input to be able to charge it right here, and then there's a USB output where you can use it to charge something else. In other words, when you're charging this battery, you use this input and then plug it into something. So let's demonstrate that real quick. So let's assume that we're going to charge this thing up. So we've got the cable here. We're gonna plug that in, and then just imagine, so it's plugged in, just imagine for a moment that you've using one of your trusty Apple chargers. Put that in there and then plug that in. And so now you've got, this takes about 4 hours, I think, to charge. Cool thing about this, I'm gonna go ahead and unplug that for now. You can imagine that. As you see here, I can push that button, and then you'll see this one's fully charged. I'll show you one of the other ones here. And also, by the way, this has a little plate that's removable, but when you're storing it, it's kind of nice to have that plate there. But this one is not fully charged, so you'll see that I've only got 3, which is 75%. So it goes 25%, 50%, 75%, and 100%. And I'm not going to show you when this is actually charging. Or yeah, I might here in just a second, but when this is actually charging, those lights will flicker as it's charging, and all the lights will come on and no flickering when it's 100% charged. So Let's talk more about this Power Junkie, because this is the real winner of all these things that I'm going to show, and I'll have a link to this in the description as well. So obviously you're going to marry this up with one of these batteries here. So we're going to take the right end, put it in there. You'll notice there's this tab right here. So I'm going to flip this around. I'm going to flip it this way. This tab, you push it down while you're inserting this in, and now it's in. And you'll notice our blue lights shining right there as well. So now we have basically a power source. So imagine for a moment that we want to charge all of the Sony batteries. Or I'm sorry, not Sony necessarily, but the BX1 for the ZV1. Don't you love all of those names and things? So you could either plug this in to the wall, you know, with one of these. Could use this, or we can use this brick. So we're going to plug in our USB-C right here. Got our other end right here. So now we're going to plug it in right here. I need to rotate these the other way. Well, no, you do, by the way, you'll notice I had to push this button down for it to start charging, and you'll also notice now you should be able to see the lights right here. So right now they're all red. They'll turn green when they're fully charged. That Sony that's in there actually should be 100% charged. I'll leave that plugged in for a while and it should turn to 100% charged so you can see. So I'm going to set this aside for a moment, but imagine again that you have this on top of your camera, and then you have this coming in here. So you would plug your USB here. I'm not going to actually plug this into the camera right now, and then plug this in to the side of your Sony camera. And I can tell you that you can definitely get 6 hours. I had a 64 gig card in there, and it ran for 6 hours, and the card filled up. So that was as long as I could test. So if I had a 128 gig card in there, it could have gone 8 hours or more, but it'll go 6 hours for sure. And there was power left. Don't remember the percentage of power left, but there was. So I'm gonna go ahead and unplug this. Okay, so you will see now. Let me turn this to where hopefully it's easier to see. You can now you should be able to see that one of those lights is green. That one right there. So green, red still. So these take about 2 hours to charge. They charge all simultaneously, so you can have 3 of these batteries charged within 2 hours, and let's just say you get an hour out of them. Just use that as your average. You may get a little bit more out of the actual Sony, out of the ones that are 1700 milliamps. When I get some of those, I will test it, but you're going to get, what, an hour? I don't know, hour and 40 minutes, hour and 30 minutes, I'm not sure. But, you know, as awesome as that is, in my mind, that's still not near as good as this option right here with the blind spot, Power Junkie, with this guy. Now I'm going to put in the description, or you'll find in the description, a black version of this, just that way it doesn't maybe stand out as much. Still has USB here to charge, USB here for output, but with the blind spot on it, I would not suggest you use this, but I suggest you use this. Now the next thing I'm going to show you, not necessarily related to the ZV-1, but something that's cool. Again, having this, or even without this unit, let me show you, it should be no surprise that I can charge my phone as well. So let's plug in our iPhone cord here. Hopefully this audio is good because I'm going to do the whole video in it. Let's find my phone. Okay, so we're going to plug our phone in here. Now I'm going to try to show this simultaneously. Let's see. Yeah, you should be able to see when that comes on. I got to actually hit the button here. And there you go. Now it's charging. So I have my phone charging using this guy. So, pretty cool. Now I can, with the blind spot on here, can actually have two things charging at the same time. Well, what I'll use to show that is we'll charge up our little Rode wireless system. So I've got two USB-C. I'm excited that the Rode little wireless Go system uses USB-C. So what did I do with the other USB-C cable? Okay, it's right here. I got lots of stuff here. So I'm plugging these in here to USB-C. Let's get this untangled. So I'm going to plug in my transmitter right here. You'll be able to see the... I'll put this in close so you can see the status. So now you'll see that blinking blue. So I know that that's actually charging. Now I'm going to plug in the receiver. A little bit different indication, and I keep kicking my tripod, but you'll notice a different indicator on this one, but nonetheless you'll notice. So you should see the indicator there, that's charging. So I have basically both of these charging with this little device. So amazing that I can do that. So we'll go ahead and move those over to the side as well, let those be charging. So that was actually faster than I thought it would be. So the thing I like about these batteries right here is that they come with a little container, so I can put those, well, that's the actual Sony one, but nonetheless I can put those in their little container and it's good to go. So a good way to store them. And with the 1700 milliamp hour charger, if you will, it's honestly roughly the same price as this for two batteries, but they're 1700 milliamp batteries, and then you can just get, I mean, basically they're the same cost. So it's almost like you get the charger for free, which is pretty cool. So hey, I just would say if you've got questions, let me know in the comments. I'm learning more and more about the Sony ZV-1. I have a lot of equipment actually on my camera that I'm not gonna bother showing you with like my phone or something, so I'm recording this on the Sony ZV-1. I've got a small rig, don't have a small rig cage yet. I'll put the link in the description so you could get one. They're not available right now anywhere I can find, but my alternative right now is a small rig handle that goes into the cold shoe of the Sony ZV-1, and I've got a light, which you can't see, but an external light plugged in to it. I've just found a neat little add-on that will take basically your one cold shoe from, let's say, the Sony ZV-1 and turn it into three, so you could have a mic connected, you could have a this extended battery system, you could also have a light like I've got right here. So hopefully the lighting was good, but I would say out of all of these things, really this blind spot device is is amazing. So you'll find the link to that in the description. It is $60, so it's a little on the expensive side, I would say, but I still think it's worth it. So you've got your charging, that's where you would connect to charge. This is where your outputs are. I mean, to charge whatever is connected to it is what I mean. And then this is where you would place your USB dongles to charge something with this battery attached to it. So at this point in time, there's not much more to say. I'll do another video on these wireless or Rode Wireless Go's. These are amazing. I actually use this for something different than a mic system, but I wanted to take my headphones that were not wireless headphones and be able to go in the other room with them and continue to listen to my Zoom call that I was on. Just listen. I wasn't needing to talk on it, but just needed to be listened. So I hooked this up to it, hooked the transmitter, and receiver up to where I could actually listen in from my computer's headphone jack. So that was pretty cool. So again, with these, with the Rode, you've got the other nice thing. This clip here just clips on. Let me see if I can show that a different way. So you've got the clip for the receiver, which is this guy. This basically becomes, when you open this up, this basically becomes a cold shoe. So you just put that into the cold shoe and you're on. So that's why that device that gives you from one cold shoe gives you 3 would be very helpful. So we're right at about 21 minutes. So I'll end it with saying, if you have found some battery solutions that you like, please let us know in the comments. I would ask that you subscribe and to our channel, click the notifications so that you can find out when we come out with our next video. This is hopefully informational. I've not put a lot of effort into the production value of this particular video. You can see about 1/3 of my face, so I wasn't intended on you really seeing any of it, because what I wanted you to see was the product. But I'll leave you with, if you're still thinking about getting the ZV-1, this whole ability to basically do a product thing, I mean, that is incredibly amazing that it can basically do it that fast. Now I'll do another video on this as well. If you're doing the product highlight functionality, if you've got it zoomed out, in other words, out to like the where it can, or I should say zoomed in, I guess is probably the right way to say that, then you're going to notice at the corners and the edges it's not as good. So you have to play with it a little bit, but certainly once you come into the center with this, there is no hiding your face or having to put your hand behind something. It just does what it's supposed to do. I mean, it's pretty amazing. So you'll notice here I don't have my hand behind this. I mean, I could literally have my hand on top of it and boom. I mean, it's that good. Even something as minute as, hopefully this will work for me, but this Sharpie, pretty quick. Hard because the light is pretty bright, but it worked with that as well. So, all right. Hope everyone has a great evening, morning, midday, whatever it is, whatever time. Let your friends know about this channel. We're going to be doing more and more videos. You'll see my face some as well. I hope you enjoy this video and hope you'll share it with others. All right, you guys take it easy.